It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, good kind people. What is going on? Covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You, my good friends, are checking out a all-new The RCWR show. 401mania.com reporter and columnist Lee Sanders here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this Wednesday night of July 20th, 2022. Hey, man, can we be perfectly candid here? Can we be perfectly honest about what we had just witnessed in regards to tonight's AEW Dynamite? I think most of us, realistically, those of us that can truly take a step back and we can truly be unbiased and look at what we had got tonight from Tony Khan and crew, you could make an argument that the first half of the show was good. The first half of the show was good. Not fantastic, not dynamite, not right. It was good, but man, what a clusterfuck of a second half we had on our hands, did we not? That second half, I mean, my God, if there was ever a time to maybe do some do-overs, I was just so in real time looking at what was going on with the second half, and of course everything culminating with that barbed wire massacre death match between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, where it was just one clusterfuck after another clusterfuck after another clusterfuck. I truly do not see how anybody with a straight face can look at everything that had went down with that barbed wire match and say to themselves, wow, this was a fantastic match from beginning to end. Oh, man, this is definitely, it's an 8 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. I don't see how anybody with a straight face can give that fucking main event match all that praise. Anybody that does try to give that match some praise, you need to be tuning them out real fucking quick. Real fucking quick. Tonight's episode of Dynamite definitely had its respected issues, I gotta say. And it kind of sucks because I was really going into this episode looking very much forward to tonight, because this is pretty much Fyter Fest Week 2, and everything has pretty much been built up around Jericho and Kingston. Even the way the match was booked, you had thought for sure that Eddie Kingston was gonna finally get his comeuppings, that when it was all said and done, Kingston was finally gonna come out of this on top after everything that has gone down. But see, now we're in a very delicate situation here, and I wonder if Tony Khan and crew really truly comprehend the position that they now have themselves in regards to the booking of Eddie Kingston, because now you've pretty much painted Eddie Kingston as the type of character, hey, great promos, great passion, great energy. Oh, man, just the way that he delivers it's on that real tip. You can connect to him emotionally, right? Gives you amazing fucking shit on the microphone. And yeah, from time to time, depending on who the opponent is, he will bang out some fucking classics. But when it counts the most, we have seen Eddie Kingston in a position, at least as far as this feud, this ongoing feud with Jericho has gone, we have seen that when it's really counted the most, maybe, with the exception of that one time that he did defeat Jericho, was expecting that handshake and it didn't go down and all that, with the exception of that one win, everything else after the fact has just been short, no cigar. And it fucking is, I would imagine, infuriating for a lot of Eddie Kingston fans out there. But yeah, this second half of Dynamite, was not a fan of it. Was not a fan of it whatsoever. Greatly disappointed with what I had saw there. Sound off. I want to know what you guys had thought about tonight's Dynamite. I definitely want to know what you guys had thought about in regards to that main event match, by the way. Welcome one, welcome all. Here we are, Wednesday night. It's hump day. Weekend just around the corner. Loaded up weekend we got too. This is a really good week for wrestling fans because you're getting your normal fix from the WWE and from AEW, but then let's not also forget that we've got the return of Ring of Honor. They're going to be doing their Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view event. We'll definitely take a look at that card. I guess we could maybe give some predictions as well. Special Call That Match edition later on in the show as far as who I see walking out of that pay-per-view victorious and everything. We could definitely do that. Of course, we got some headlines as well. Been a nice little quiet week, so I think when it's all said and done, we should definitely be out of here. I would say in about 90 minutes. Maybe we can put in some fluffers in the form of questions from you guys. If you got some wrestling-related questions you maybe want to pick my brain on and everything. So I hope you guys are doing your very best to stay hydrated out there, man, because all this week it has been muggy. It has been rough as hell over here in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. We have seen some really ridiculous temperatures. We've pretty much been in the mid-90s. We've been at around some parts 92, 93, 94. But then you factor in the humidity level and it feels much hotter, and we are not done just yet. I would not be surprised if for our transit system, if maybe we were into a cold orange or red, and a case might come down where, depending on where you live in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, buses, you might be able to get on them for free and avoid paying the fare and all that shit. And then there could also be a case where they'll probably most likely have some buses that'll be parked at certain spots throughout the city where you can get on it, escape from the shade, have some water, all that good jazz. So it's been pretty muggy out there, man. I hear a lot of people say, hey, you got to make sure that you take it easy. And, of course, you definitely got to make sure you take it easy. But you definitely want to be on top of making sure that your little furry friend is okay. Keep your furry friends very hydrated. If you happen to like to take them outside while you're traveling or going out for those walks and everything, you definitely want to make sure you don't keep them out there that long. Sadly, they can't really handle that type of hot weather that we're dealing with right now like we can. Just imagine if we're out there for about 20, 25 minutes until we say, oh my God, that's it. I'm tapping out. I'm over. Right. Unfortunately with our pets, they can't last as long. If we can last 25 minutes, then 9 times out of 10, they typically will probably last half of that time, if even that. So you definitely want to make sure that for your furry friends, you're keeping them hydrated and everything. So, just where do we begin with tonight's Dynamite, by the way? We'll also talk a little bit of NXT as well. I know it had been a good minute since I've talked about NXT since last I had checked in. I'll definitely talk about NXT as well. I know Zoe Starks had made her return on this week's NXT 2.0. So we got a nice, well-rounded episode for you guys. I guess in regards to tonight's AEW Dynamite, look, let's start with some of the positives that had came from this episode as we work our way into talking about nothing but the negatives for that second half. I like the fact that things began with Brody King taking on Darby Allin. That was oh my God, I love seeing that. That was essentially kind of a rematch too. When you really stop and think about it and everything, right? Because remember, there was if I remember correctly, there was some type of battle royal match, was it not? Some type of a battle royal gauntlet match that went down several weeks back, where we were supposed to see who was going to get crowned the number one contender to take on Moxley for the interim AEW World Heavyweight Championship, if you guys recall. And the final two had came down to Brody King and Darby Allin. And remember how Brody just pretty much strong-armed the shit out of Darby. He had him in a nice, good headlock. I mean, he was choking the hell out of that dude. Darby just passes the fuck out. Remember that? It was a nice, cool spot from over the ropes, and Brody King had pretty much won, right? So it's interesting since then, and everything that's pretty much transpired with Sting, Darby Allin intertwining there with the House of Black. And I like it. I like that we finally are seeing these two respected, I won't say factions, but you get what I'm saying. I like that we're finally seeing these personalities clash, because it was actually something that I had mentioned several weeks back before it had even began, before these guys had even crossed paths with each other. I had said, yeah, it'd be pretty badass if we could somehow see these guys intertwine, and now we're finally getting it and everything. So Brody King taking on Darby Allin here tonight. This was one of those nice full comeback type of stories based on everything we've seen play out past several weeks and everything. Brody King going over with the victory here. I like the way that this match was booked. Brody King was out there looking like a fucking monster. He just looked like he was out there seek and destroy. I love the way that he was definitely booked tonight. Definitely will give him that. And I'm looking at the chat right now. I see Steve. Steve, God bless you. God bless you. Steve is saying, All Elite Wrestling was good show tonight. So can't watch in TBS, so I watch on my phone. Look, if they got you, if you enjoyed every single minute, Steve, of AEW Dynamite tonight, God bless you. But not everything was perfect with regards to AEW. And before anybody goes, man, Lee, you're being a little bit too critical. You're being a little bit too... Let me tell you something. I was with at least about 15 people in the Discord watching Dynamite. And we all were reacting to everything that was playing out in real time. And we all were pretty much in agreement. Yeah, first half of the show, good. Second half of the show, shit. Main event match, shit. Straight up. You guys that, happen to bounce around in different Discord servers and all that, you guys really should, on those nights where you got your Raw and your AEW shows, you guys really should start looking into the Discord. You guys will be able to interact with me, rest of the communities, some nice, cool, laid-back folks, just calling it how it is. No favoritism whatsoever. If something is banging, right, it doesn't matter the promotion. Doesn't matter the promotion. If it's banging, it's getting that praise. If it fucking sucks, it's getting lit up. It's getting fucking lit up. But Brody King was definitely booked like a fucking monster in this match. I definitely got to give it up to the way he was booked in there. Darby, I got to give him mad fucking props as well, because he bumped and sold like a motherfucker to our boy Brody King. Dude can take a serious ass whooping. Seriously. I think they both did a really good job here. I like how they had essentially tried to flush out more of what Darby can do against big men. I love how, particularly on the offense, the way that they tried to go about telling the story of Darby, because when you really take a step back and you think about it, it's so much more than, okay, well, that was a good match. But then you got to start asking the questions such as, well, why was this a good match? What made this match so interesting? What made this match, And for me, what made Darby versus Brody King a very fun, interesting match is the fact that you're obviously looking at this little tiny guy and Darby, and you're going, how is Darby going to be able to hold himself up against this big behemoth monster of a man that is Brody King? Right? So you're already looking at it and you're already saying to yourself, even if you are somebody that, casually watches AEW, rarely watches AEW, or maybe you're just flipping through the channels and you happen to see this small guy taking on Brody, you're going, wait a minute, let me just stay right here. I'm a little bit curious here. This looks like it might be a fucking train wreck here. What am I getting ready to see go down here? So the way that they had this match laid out, definitely got to give them a lot of props for how they had it all set up when it was said and done. Definitely a banger. The offensive end of Darby Allin, even on the defensive end, they made it the way the match was booked. They tried to make it be as believable as humanly possible. And they definitely get my respect for it. And look, not for nothing, but we have seen a history already with Darby Allin that Darby can fucking go. Darby can fucking wrestle. Okay? We've seen many instances of that. So we know what the guy is capable of. Whoever has been in charge of booking Darby Allin and his matches, that's the one thing. If you really kind of go back and you almost look at the majority of Darby Allin's matches. And look, if it turns out it's actually Khan, I mean, that's great. But whoever has had a hand in focusing on the little details and matches for Darby Allin as of late, give them a fucking raise, because they definitely have been doing their job extremely fucking well. So post-match, after everything is all said and done, Brody King grabs on Darby Allin, puts him into a sleeper. He's not letting that bad boy go, and for right reason, because remember, it was just last week we had saw Sting, Malachi Black cross paths. They didn't get physical with each other, though. They teased it. They wanted to go. It was a matter of who's going to strike who first, and it was basically a stalemate. So this go round, safe to say that the House of Black had got into a huddle. Okay, so what are we going to do here? How are we going to make Sting come out? What's the game plan? How are we going to get the jump on this dude and everything? And Brody King freaking played Malachi Black as well. They fucking played Sting like a fiddle as Brody had that sleeper on Darby, and he's looking dead at the freaking ramp, just waiting for the icon himself to come out as he applies that sleeper and ain't letting go. Sure enough, Sting freaking comes out, gets into the ring, takes the fight to Brody King. They're going at it. He gets him in a headlock. Looks like maybe he's going for a scorpion death drop when all of a sudden lights go out. It's dark for several seconds. When they come back on, we see Sting face to face with fucking Malachi Black. It was a badass fucking spot that they had laid out there, following up from what they had did the previous week. So that was good. And these two guys are just staring down each other. Great fucking moment. But then Brody jumps from behind, gets on Sting, holds him up for a little bit. Malachi ends up spraying his trademark Black Mist into the face of Sting. And they just proceeded to stomp a mud hole on the icon there. So I hope that going forward, the history that we've kind of seen when Malachi has sprayed his black spew, his black hatred and all that on the face of somebody, we have seen time and time again that at some point there's been some type of evil that has manifested, right? Whatever might have been held within for such a long period of time, once Malachi has sprayed that person, eventually the evil comes to surface and everything, right? So I would love to see a situation come about over the course of the next several weeks. I would love to see a scenario go down where maybe we have Sting, he's kind of rattled psychologically, right? He's rattled by the spray that came about in the face there, right? Maybe we see him kind of play around with his fucking makeup, right? There's so many different ways that Tony Khan and crew can go with this. On the one hand, you can have fucking Sting not even remove that fucking, face paint, all that shit that went down when he got sprayed tonight. On the one hand, you could just pretty much let it be like that, and basically the face paint kind of manifests into something else, because when Malachi sprays you, that evilness, it's going into your pores and it's pretty much working its magic within, right? So, I mean, just you guys feel where I'm coming from. I mean, we'd be here all night if we were just really dissecting, but they're in a very interesting position here in regards to Sting. I really hope it's not so fucking clear cut and it's just, oh wow, they jumped on Sting and okay, yeah, Sting's got to get the big comeback and all that. They're in a really good position right here now, where if the ultimate goal is, okay, well, you know what, for what it's worth, we've pretty much run the course of Sting and Darby Allin as a tag team. Let's go on ahead now and let's break this up. And ultimately, we see these two guys, maybe they face one another, right? I would love, and you would just like to think somewhere down the road, we will, in fact, be seeing Darby and Sting go at it. Whether or not that's going to be before 2022 is out, that remains to be seen. But I'm very curious where Tony Khan and crew are going to be going with this. But I personally would love all the little stuff that I just said to you these past couple of minutes. I would love to see them go in that respected direction and everything. So, but nice, good, strong opening that they did for Dynamite there. Definitely got to give them a lot of props there. Welcome to those of you that's tuning in, whether you're tuning in via the YouTube or you're going to be checking us out Twitter, Twitch, the Facebook, or you're going to be representing for On Demand and on the downloads. Shout out to you guys as always. Love and appreciate you guys that always tune in, be it live or On Demand and on the downloads. Just taking a look at the On Demand numbers the other day. I see we are continuing to pick things up. I like that. Keep it coming, my friends. Keep it coming. All right. So from there, next up, we got Miro. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, Miro had actually came out. He had his shades on and everything. Was pushing I Am a Redeemer or I Am the Redeemer t-shirt as he had came out, pretty much interrupted House of Black beating the crap out of Sting and Darby Allin, and they were just left cold dead in their tracks in the ring there as they were looking at Miro, wondering if he was going to make a move or not. Miro just continued to stand there on top of the stage ramp looking at them, right? And remember the continuation from basically Rampage, where Miro wondered, okay, what exactly is supposed to be going on here? I thought I was on this path to become a champion, and yet I got derailed because of House of Black. Am I supposed to fight House of Black, my God, or am I supposed to be recruited by these guys? So it's nice that they're continuing. Shout out to David Ortiz, who had just subscribed. Well, welcome, my friend. Hope you enjoy your stay there. I got the alerts working tonight. Yeah, we got the alerts working tonight. So nice spot there that we got with Miro. Now, look, I didn't really spend any time because honestly, this is kind of really the first time I've been able to talk about Miro and what the cards may be in store for him and everything, dealing with the House of Black and all. On the one hand, it would be very, very interesting if we were to see Miro get paired up with House of Black. I really do like that idea. I truly do. But then on the other hand, I'm reminded that House of Black consists of three guys, and Buddy Matthews, in his own respected right, is a big dude as well. That dude is fucking jacked. So for me, I just, it kind of makes more sense to see Miro align himself with Sting and Darby Allin. But I still, going back to what I said a few minutes ago, like the idea of Sting ultimately. I just feel as though the direction that we could potentially be going in is, no, Miro, yes, he will eventually pair up with Sting and Darby. And whenever this match goes down with these guys, I'm thinking that All Out, right? That's when everything is really going to come to a head and we're going to get a proper bookend to this respective feud. I feel from out of it, maybe we're going to see a heel Sting. That's just the vibe that I kind of get right now. And usually when my gut instincts is kicking in like that, I usually trust them. But there's been times where my gut instincts have been wrong. So it's going to be interesting to see going into All Out where we're going to be heading there. Who knows? But like the continuation there of the teasing of Miro, which side is he on here? As he's just continuing to watch on and look from a spectating fashion, basically. Second matchup of the night, Wheeler Yuta and Jon Moxley taking on Best Friends. Moxley and Yuta going over. Wow, kind of interesting here because, this match, much different than our opener. Much different from our opener from the standpoint of, okay, look, we know that the Best Friends, they are a pretty good, respected tag team, right? They are a good tag team. But as you were watching this match, certain points you're looking at Wheeler Yuta and you're going, Jesus Christ, Wheeler Yuta, this guy is supposed to be the ROH pure champion or whatever. And this guy's kind of coming off looking like a chump here. When you're looking at the match, for at least the first half, when you're looking at it, you're saying, damn. Well, what's the story we're telling here with Wheeler Yuta, man? All right, like it doesn't quite make any sense here. But then as we went into the second half of the match, we're going, okay, so they're kind of rebuilding him here. They're kind of making him get back his comeuppance and all that. I also like the extra dynamic that was in this match as well, because Chuck at one point had a hand in training Wheeler Yuta, right? Because remember, Wheeler Yuta for a minute, he was running there with the Best Friends until ultimately he got recruited by William Regal and them, right? So I liked all that you had going on in there. Nice match, definitely. I would say it was a good tag match. But you were definitely concerned about Wheeler Yuta because you're going, wait a minute, man. He's got this pay-per-view on Saturday, and he's looking like a chump right now. Come on now. He's got to get his comeuppance in here. What the fuck is going on here? So, all things considered, it ended up being a pretty good tag match. I thought this was pretty good for what it was worth. Always good to see the interim AEW heavyweight champion in there as well. So, from there, Keith Lee. Swerve, my man Swerve Strickland. They had came out, and they are loving the fact that they're the new AEW Tag Team Champions. They're loving the reactions they're getting from the crowd and everything. When all of a sudden, Smart Mark Sterling, Tony Nese came out, and Smart Mark does not like the fact that, Strickland. He didn't like the fact that Swerve did not sign, or actually, correction, he did not like the fact that Keith Lee did not sign the petition. So there was some hip-hop Mongol that was at ringside. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Gates. I don't know the first name, but Gates was the last name that I had heard. He was trying to get this guy to sign and everything, and Gates had refused. Smart Mark was talking a whole bunch of trash to the rapper, to the producer, and dude just dropped his fucking ass. A nice little spot, kind of corny, all said and done. Didn't particularly care for it, but it was what it was. Meanwhile, Butcher and who else? Butcher and Blade, they were backstage as they were trying to be civil in a conversation with John Silver and Alex Reynolds. They basically presented Butcher and Blade with t-shirts Both of the shirts said Butch. Butcher and Blade didn't take a liking to this, so they just started beating the holy crap out of these guys. That pretty much had set up an instant Acme feud, if you will, as all that's going to be playing itself out on this Friday's Rampage. I'll tell you a lot more about that card in a hot little bit. Third matchup of the night, Varsity Blondes taking on Luchasaurus, Christian Cage. Squash match, all said and done. Squash match. What the real story was about, though, was the fact that Jungle Boy finally made his triumphant return. We hadn't seen him in weeks, so it was great to see the young man once again. And he goes down to the ramp, just gingerly walking his way to the ring. He's got a steel chair in hand. Luchasaurus gets out of the ring, and he's standing there waiting for him. And finally, Jungle Boy comes face to face with Luchasaurus. And, you know, if you could read lips, I think it basically was Jungle Boy saying to Luchasaurus, it's like that? You're really gonna do this, huh? You're really gonna stand in my way after everything that dude had put me through and everything. You're gonna stand in my way. Please don't make me fight you to get to him, right? And Luchasaurus is just standing there, right? And you're just going, okay, here we go. Here we go. What's going to happen here? How's it going to go down? Luchasaurus graciously steps to the side, gestures for Jungle Boy to go into that ring, go get his. So you're going, wow. So Luchasaurus is much smarter than we thought, right? We thought that maybe. So, right? Luchasaurus the whole time was just basically playing possum, having Christian Cage think that, oh, he's nice and safe. He's got nothing to worry about, right? All that fucking shit. And you got Jungle Boy getting in the ring. And, you know, it's kind of funny when you think about it, too, because you're going, wait a minute here. Christian, why are you running away from Jungle Boy? Come on now. Why are you running away from him? You, a decorated veteran, a decorated tag team champion, a decorated world heavyweight champion. Why would you run away from some kid, right? Well, because you're the ultimate chicken shit heel, right? That's the role that he's pretty much in right now, right? And I'm not complaining. I ate that shit up. You just kind of felt that this was maybe going to be the direction AEW was going to go in, because they were always quick to remind us about how long Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus knew one another. Luchasaurus has known Jungle Boy since he was 9 years old. Remember? We would constantly hear that. There probably was not a week that went by we weren't told that shit. So, you know, it's kind of funny that everything came full circle the way that it did, and when it really counted the most, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy's bond much stronger, has much more will than what Christian Cage thought he had going on there with Luchasaurus. So, nice to see that, and again, I think at this point, all things is just going to collide at All Out, but then again, we've got another AEW-themed event that's going to be coming up, which is AEW's Fight for the Fallen. A lot of us had groaned when we were looking at this shit, because it seems now the pattern that AEW is doing, let's make every single week some type of a themed event. And you're just going, Jesus fucking Christ of Latter-day Saints, how many fucking more themes are you going to be able to pull out of your ass here, right? Because like every single week, it is some type of a special themed edition of AEW, and I get it. I may not like the hustle, but I respect the game, and you know, it's basically from this standpoint. You got to do what you got to do to build up some type of hype, to build up some type of a incentive for why fans need to continue to be invested in your product, why they need to go out of their way to check out Friday's Rampage, the very next episode of Dynamite. I get it, but it just kind of feels as though if we continue, where I'm concerned, is if we continue to keep spamming out these special themed editions of AEW pretty much on a week-to-week basis, eventually we're going to kind of lose that aura. We're going to kind of lose that magic, if you will. And once you lose that, once it's just typical Rampage or typical Dynamite, once you lose that luster, then it just becomes, right? Because the last thing you want, plain and simple, the last thing you want is oversaturation. And that's my biggest concern for Tony Khan and crew right now, right? 1 week is this, next week is that, and then the week after that is going to be this, and then, right? So you got all of that sandwiched in with, oh, don't forget, we've got this ROH pay-per-view that's coming up. Hey, don't forget, we've got All Out that's going to be coming up, right? So oversaturation, and that's mainly what I'm concerned about. Tony Khan and crew, they definitely need to try to pump the brakes and tread a little bit lightly here, right? Easier said than done, but we'll see. And look, to be devil's advocate a little bit, some of these theme things that they're doing, has it been helping them in the ratings within reason? Yeah, I know Friday's Rampage did a nice little rebound this past Friday from the previous week, so that's nice and everything. But I really think when it's all said and done, the fact that, okay, we're done with this whole New Japan Pro Wrestling little experiment. We don't have to worry about, so this is basically just a New Japan show. Okay, well, I can pretty much skip this for what it's worth. I don't really need to be bothered with this, right? Kind of one of those... Yeah. FTW World Championship match. Ricky Starks defending against Cole Carter. First of all, who the fuck is Cole Carter? That's number one. And if this guy has pretty much been doing his thing on Dark and Elevation, well, that's really got to be fucking hyped up and everything. But this was a head scratcher of a match because... you just are looking at Ricky Starks and you're going, this guy is fucking phenomenal. This guy is beast on the microphone. This guy is beast in the ring. He can hang with some of the absolute best, okay? He can hang with the absolute best. And yet you're looking at this match and you're going, why should we care about this guy that we've never seen before? For some of us, we've never seen before in our entire lives. For some of us, this was our first time seeing this guy on Dynamite programming and everything. Why should we care about this guy? You just felt that this was a throwaway match and wondering, so what's the real story here? What are we trying to set up Ricky for? Or are we still continuing with Ricky and Powerhouse Hobbs infatuation with Swerve in Our Glory? Or has that kind of now been abandoned and everything? What exactly, what's the 411 here, right? So, I just thought it was kind of a disservice that they had Ricky Starks out here for all intents and purposes, pretty much a enhancement match, if you will, right? And it's funny because they did a picture-in-picture break for this. And keep in mind, this is for the FTW Championship, right? And yet, after we come back from our picture-in-picture break, I mean, these guys weren't even back for 90 seconds and the match was already over. So Ricky Starks grabs a microphone, talks about how that was his first challenge, but that he's got a lot more left in the tank, and he wants another challenge. Well, send for Danhausen. Danhausen came out and, hey, all right, you say you want another challenge? I'll face you. I'll take you on for that FTW championship. All of a sudden, Ricky Starks, he wants to get healed up. He wants to rehab his neck and his muscles and all that. So next week's Dynamite, Danhausen, Ricky Starks are going to be fighting for that FTW Championship. And that should be a pretty good matchup there. Briscoes, as you guys know, coming up at Death Before Dishonor this Saturday, they're going to be facing FTR for the championships there. So, very interesting. Can you just imagine if, and I said this earlier, can you just imagine if Dwayne The Rock Johnson and the immortal Hulk Hogan, just imagine if those guys, just imagine one of them was in the ring every single time you turned on WWE, whatever, Raw, SmackDown. Just imagine it would just be one of those guys that you would see cutting promos on the other opponent each and every single week. And you're hoping that maybe the opponent is going to be, I guess, cutting some stuff online or whatever, social media and all that. But you're not going to see these two guys until you get to the pay-per-view. I mean, just imagine if it would have went down like that. I bring that up because let's not forget that there is a Warner Media executive that is pretty salty still, despite the fact that them boys had said their apologies and all that. Some of those comments that were made in regards to the LGBTQ community, it had rubbed this particular Warner Media executive the wrong way, and he pretty much told Tony Khan and them, he gave them a mandate, basically, which was, them boys, the Briscoes, they are never to be on Turner Warner Media television. So, it's interesting how FTR have pretty much had to build things up coming on TV every single week, hyping up this match. And I would assume that Briscoes have been doing like they have been doing these past several years, and they've been utilizing social media to cut their promos on their opponents and all that. So I just interesting observation. I personally felt. I don't know if you guys had really kind of sat back and took that in. Maybe you will now that I've brought it to your attention. For me, though, the biggest highlight out of these guys, FTR that is, the biggest highlight for me, besides them hyping up this match, which is going to be a damn good banger, I really like Dax telling the story about his daughter and how when she was 5 years old, they did like MRIs, CAT scans and all that, and they found this hole that was in her heart. And doctors basically said, look, if she works really hard, that hole, it should close up on its own. And, if not, they're unfortunately going to have to do some surgery. And, man, you talk about surgery on the heart, there can be complications. We all know that very, very well. Complications always occurs in surgery, right? What could honestly be a routine procedure, be out in a minute, see you in just a few, we'll go grab lunch somewhere, next thing you know, right? When Dax was telling this story, I could just feel myself having a lump in my throat of emotions just hearing it and everything, and I'm listening to this story, but also at the same time I'm going, wow, where are we going with this story here? Because it feels so 180 from talking about what we're going to be seeing FTR do with them boys. I'm trusting the process, though. I know we're going to come full circle, but my whole thing is, I'm just trying to I'm moving my brain. It's just going a couple of steps ahead as I'm trying to figure out here where we're going with this promo. And Dax basically said that 3 years passed, doc checks on the heart. The heart had completely closed, that hole. It had completely closed because that girl had fought her ass off. That girl, now 8 years old, that's Dax's daughter, basically. And to his point, in regards to linking it back to them boys, if his 8-year-old daughter, has what it takes to fight that hard for something that's not promised, right? Then daddy's pretty much going to do the same thing. And that at Saturday night's pay-per-view, Death Before Dishonor, Dax is going to fight like an 8-year-old girl. and he's gonna beat their ass. That was a nice little funny ass line. I love that. But that for me was the promo of the night. I just, the entire journey of it, loved it. Fucking loved it. You know, one thing that was also interesting as we get closer to Ric Flair's final match, and as we know by now, because we did talk about it not just on Monday's show, but we also talked about it on Tuesday night's Wrestling with the Topic. So if you guys had missed that, after you get done with this episode, make sure you show some love and check those out for on demand and on the downloads. Definitely Wrestling with the Topic, which, by the way, that reminds me, the audio version of Wrestling with the Topics, that's not going to be released until Thursday for you guys. Again, Thursday. I don't know if I should be able, because remember, we're doing a new Thursday schedule, so I should have it up for you guys. I should have it up for you guys definitely Thursday night. I'm thinking probably it'll be released around 10 p.m. or whatever. But if you guys that had missed the initial stream, you definitely want to check it out, because Tams, as a casual wrestling viewer, she had a lot to say in regards to Ric Flair coming out of retirement to basically do this one last match and everything. Some really good, fresh takes, I personally felt. So make sure you check that out when that episode becomes available. But to my point, and it's kind of interesting, as we get closer to Ric Flair's final match, and we've been seeing Jay Lethal. You know, Jay Lethal's doing this thing with AEW and everything going into the ROH pay-per-view. Not one mention whatsoever on these AEW shows in regards to Lethal, this upcoming last match, right, that Flair's going to have and everything. Remember, Tony Khan, it really rubbed him the wrong way, that Dark Side of the Ring episode, Plane Ride from Hell. You know, he pretty much, for all intents and purposes, made a vow, yeah, Ric Flair, we definitely ain't doing nothing with him, you know, at least no time soon, or just period, right? So I don't care who he is, don't care about his fame, don't care about his legacy. Yeah, I ain't doing nothing. Just no acknowledgement of that whatsoever. I just thought, I don't know if you guys were kind of thinking the same thing. Maybe now you are, that I've brought it up. But Jay Lethal pretty much continuing to take little digs at Samoa Joe. Christopher Daniels walked up to him on tonight's episode as they were cutting up again backstage. Daniels pretty much challenged Jay Lethal to a match at this Friday's Rampage, of which Lethal did accept. So we'll be seeing that go down on a Rampage. By the way, if you guys been enjoying yourself so far, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. When you do that, you really help supercharge content like what you're checking out right now. And watch, especially you guys out there on YouTube. Definitely continue to show that love and keep watching. The longer you watch, the better. All of those things really helps out as far as content recommendations go and all of that. But definitely subscribe as well so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way on a weekly basis. Join our 12,000 and 1,100 subscribers and counting of folks that's here checking out all the great content. See, so from there, Kiera Hogan, Jade Cargill taking on Willow Nightingale and Athena. Team of Jade Cargill and Kiera Hogan going over. Let me tell you something. And at this point, this is pretty much, you know, part of that second half of the show, if you will. You know, this is pretty much where things start going downhill as we go into the main event match. This was not a good tag match. This was, it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty whatsoever. There was a lot of miscues in this one. I wasn't a fan of the pacing and the footwork of all the girls in this one. The timing was just way off. I know my girl was Athena. I know Athena. She's a fucking pro. I mean, she's been at this for a long time and everything. And when you're looking at this match, you're going, okay, who are my veterans here? You're going, okay, well, definitely Athena. Kiera Hogan's been at it for a good minute. Willow's been at it as well. Jade is the one that is still pretty green, but she is coming along. Okay, well, these three girls should be able to help Jade pretty well and camouflage, whatever, right? So we should have ourselves a nice little banger here. But, I believe in synergy and chemistry. And what I saw tonight, nice rough draft. Definitely need to make a few corrections, a lot of corrections here and there. This match wasn't good, but I was able to tolerate it a lot more than our main event match. I'll definitely say that. I think in regards to Jade, she's coming along. She is getting better as an overall performer. I mean, the whole look, there's just the presentation, the character. I mean, she's got all that shit down. But, the in-ring work, see, here's the thing. When it comes to Jade and her in-ring work, she is only as good, couple of things. She's only as good as the person or people that are training her on a weekly basis. And then on top of that, she's only as good as the dance partner that she has in that ring with her. Especially if it's a situation where, okay, well, I just got to make sure I'm able to get all my shit in, right? No. You got to be unselfish right here, because the bigger story is all about trying to get this person over and, making sure that as far as where you need to be, some of the shit that you need to do, right, you're doing it, and you're doing it accordingly, and you're doing it well. There were just so many miscues that was just going on in this matchup tonight that just was not good, whatsoever. So I was kind of disappointed, because I was really looking forward, of all the matches that was on this card, as soon as I had heard we were getting this one, I'm going, I actually had perked up and everything, but yeah, man, wasn't a fan of this one whatsoever. Thunderstorm backstage chatting it up with Tony Schiavone, and Thunder Rosa talks about how she's going to be defending her championship next week, as she's just very excited to face the very best that Japan has to offer. More about what's going to be going down on next week's Dynamite in a hot little bit. Meanwhile, Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter come out there to crash Thunder Rosa's promo there. To basically say, please, enough with the Thunder Rosa promos. Pretty much, they're bad, right? And I say, good luck. Nah, you know what? Hope you lose. And that as a little bit of a preview as far as what could possibly come for Thunder Rosa on next week's Dynamite, Jamie Hayter and Britt, they're going to be in action. So they pretty much want for Thunderstorm to watch them, right? Or do that Usher. Watch this. Right, do that shit, right? One more match to talk about, and that is our barbed wire everywhere death match. Chris Jericho, the Painmaker, taking on Eddie Kingston. Jericho Appreciation Society is hanging above the ring. Ruby Soho is at ringside. She basically has the controls to the cage. Where is Buff Bagwell's mom? So we can ascend her to the ceiling heavens as well, right? What do I say about this match? Clusterfuck. This match was a fucking clusterfuck. It's interesting because, you're looking at this match. And you're going, okay, this is it, right? Like everything that's been building up between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, it's pretty much come down to this. Whoa, is it raining? I think it's raining. Hang on a second. Yeah. I think I hear a little bit of rain over here. That's interesting. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, you're like, okay. And even right down to the point when Eddie Kingston comes out, because Jericho makes his grand entrance first, which, by the way, having him come out to the whole Judas song again, and he's supposed to be Painmaker, I just felt that if there was ever a time to have Jericho come out to some new Fozzy music, well, like, why not right here? Let him come out to something different, something that is just, okay, it's Painmaker. When you hear this song, it's always Painmaker. I'm very curious to hear what he has to say on his respected podcast, or maybe the next time he is interviewed. Hey, it's very seldom we see the Painmaker character here. Very rare we see the Painmaker gimmick. When we did see it in AEW and everything, you still came out to, why did you entertain, just for that one night? I'm very curious what his creative thought process was going into it and everything. But I was definitely anticipating. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely was anticipating he was going to come out to some new music specifically for the Painmaker gimmick. But so many variables that was going on in this match. It's right down to the point you're just going, how do you rate this match overall? How do you kind of talk about this match? And for me, there was just one I guess violent spot after another. There was just one insane spot after another, involving the whole barbed wire, right? And then, granted, this is a barbed wire, death match and everything. I like how Eddie Kingston came down to this, not just ready for a fight, but trying to do his very best to bandage himself up around his arms, legs, and all of that. Meanwhile, Jericho is just pretty much out there. He kind of really didn't get the memo. He's mainly out there looking like a showman, more than a fighter, if anything, But I gotta admit, I lost interest in this match after a few minutes. I did. It's interesting because I can go back and I can watch an episode of ECW, or I could go back and easily watch something with maybe Mick Foley, and I still think that what Mick Foley and Edge did, wow, I thought that was pretty fucking good. Or give me some shit with Hunter and Mick Foley. I will fucking eat that shit up. Like, it's not that, and I want to make sure I really drive this home. It's not that because I'm getting older as a wrestling fan, my taste is getting so different, and it's like, oh man, that's very sore for the eyes to see. Ooh, it's nothing like that at all. But after watching this particular main event match for the first, several minutes, I'm going, okay, all right, besides the crazy spot after spot after spot, what do we really have here for substance? What do we really have here? And honestly, what we had was a whole lot of nothing. It was just a big old whole lot of nothing burger that was in this. So now you're going, okay, well, look, we've got members of the Jericho Appreciation Society suspended over the ring. You just know that, okay, these guys, they're gonna fucking come into play at some point. Somehow these guys are gonna come into play. How are we gonna do this? Cue up Tay Conti. Tay Conti comes out there. She's trying to have a few words with Ruby Soho. Basically, give me the control, right? Ruby's not having it. Fucking Anna Jay comes out. Anna Jay pretty much knocks out Ruby Soho. So I guess this is kind of following up on a conversation that went down with Anna Jay and Tay Conti. I think it was on last Friday's Rampage, where Tay pretty much had said, look, you need to look in the mirror and give yourself some tough love because, yeah, you may not like some of the things that's been going on with my respected career, some of the decisions that I've made as of late, but I'm in a pretty good position. I'm getting a lot more TV time than what you're getting, right? You need to check yourself, basically, is her message to Anna Jay. So I guess Anna Jay really took that to heart and everything because she laid out Ruby Soho pretty much helping Tay Conti be in a position where she was able to take some keys and try, and I do stress try, to open the shark cage, because Anna Jay was able to suspend the cage. She was able to lower it, right? Ruby Soho suspended it high above, but Anna Jay was able to lower it, and Tay only had one fucking assignment, and that was to fucking open the steel cage with her little key. That was her one and only assignment. And she blew it. And she fucking blew it. Right? I mean, just imagine that. You only got one fucking spot. Right? One fucking spot. You're not even really getting physical with anybody. Right? You ain't got to worry about taking some foreign object. You pretty much just got one mission and one mission only. And the only thing you got to do is just open the fucking cage door. That's it. And my girl could not even fucking do that. She was struggling like a mofo. It was so bad that the Jericho Appreciation members, they were able to get out of the cage because there was just enough space in between. They pretty much just got out in between the bars. They did the shit with ease. It wasn't like they were fucking, squeeze out of there, right? I mean, there was enough space for all of them to pretty much come out of that bad boy just like that. And as soon as I saw that spot go down, you just would have had to been in the Discord in real time. We all were laughing our asses off at that spot. And I'm immediately going, fuck, Matthew from Botchamania is going to have a field day. He's going to have a fucking field day with that shit, right? God, there's just one clusterfuck after another in this. It was, this was really, really, really fucking bad. It really was fucking bad. I'm trying to think about the finish to the match as well. I think Sammy Guevara ended up coming out there helping Jericho. Yeah, I mean, when I say you had a whole bunch of variables in here, when I say you had a whole lot of, interference that was going on in this bad boy, you had a lot of shit that was going on in this one, a whole lot of shit. I'm just going back and checking my notes here because I remember there were some good guys that had came out. I kind of feel as though Santana and Ortiz maybe came out, or at least one of them had came out. I'm just looking at my notes here, trying to see which one it was that had came out, but I'm not able. Hang on here. Yeah, I'm sadly not. Yeah, I don't even think I wrote it down, but somebody did come out for Eddie Kingston's side. Somebody did fucking come out. But, yeah, Sammy Guevara, he had came out there, and they pretty much were double teaming on Eddie Kingston at this fucking point. Judas Effect is what had gave Jericho the win after it seemed as though when Eddie Kingston had applied a stretch muffler, if you will, a stretch plum on Jericho through the barbed wire, you're thinking, okay, well, this surely is one way to make Jericho tap out, right? Jericho was bleeding like a stuffed pig in this bad boy, but somehow Jericho ended up winning this, and you're going, well, Jesus, when it fucking counted the most, and Eddie Kingston should have fucking went over, and he fucking didn't. Oh, okay, great. Post-match, we saw the weirdest fucking sequence that went down where Kingston was trying to fight Jericho and Sammy, and it was really weird because the way it came off, Eddie knew exactly where he was supposed to be, what he was supposed to be doing, but Jericho and Sammy came off as if they really weren't sure what the fuck they were supposed to do, and it fucking showed. Right down to the point. I remember when Kingston had tried to do a spinning back fist on Sammy Guevara. I mean, clear as fucking day, he misses this motherfucker. Clear as day, he misses this motherfucker, and yet Guevara sells the fucking spot anyway and falls on the outside and all that other fucking shit. And pretty much the go home was Eddie Kingston sending Jericho over the rope and basically crashing onto a barbed wire board to end the show. And Eddie Kingston, and I would imagine it's going to be a fucking meme if it's not a meme already. I would imagine that the way Eddie Kingston looked at the end when he was just sitting on top of the apron looking on at fucking Jericho crash through that shit, and he pretty much has his hands, I think his hands were either on his lap or his hands were around his hip. He had that same look that Undertaker had in Saudi Arabia when he had that shit match against Bill Goldberg. Remember that look? Eddie Kingston had that kind of look. That I bullshit you not. It's definitely, if you didn't watch Dynamite this week, it's definitely worth going out of your way. And everything just, it wasn't clicking. It wasn't clicking. Very disappointed with that fucking match. That match was just right down to the point. Let me read to you just some of the comments that was put in there as we all were watching this in real time in the fucking Discord here, man. Of course, I had said anyone that says that was a good match, run away from them. I followed that up with, wow, that was fucking horrible. PMG had said, I am embarrassed. Joey Numbers, shout out to Joey Numbers from Wrestling Soup. He had said, this is pathetic. I followed up. I said, what the fuck is this shit? Ted, shout out to Ted. Oh my God, another fucking botch. Awful. Sarcastic match of the year. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us were just ripping this fucking match apart. We just, it was that bad, guys. It was that fucking bad. Seriously. How do you top off what had happened with those fucked up fireworks and all that had involved Eddie Kingston? Remember that, right? How do you follow that up? Well, you go ahead and you do this match, right? Sounded good, boy, but the execution. Execution. So overall, in regards to this episode, I would say this show was all over the fucking place. Yeah, you might have had some good turns here and there, but I mean, they were just all over the fucking place. It wasn't a horrible show, but it wasn't their best show. It wasn't their best show. You can maybe make an argument that maybe they were just trying to do too much, cram in way too much, right? They didn't let some things kind of breathe or whatever, but hell, you could even go just to show you guys the fucking, let me refresh this real quick because I'm a little bit curious. I might not be able, because even if you go on the 401 Mania site, and you guys know I write over there and everything, I'm just curious, what did people have to say about that main event match? Let's see if any new comments had came in. Okay, so let's go back to, let's see. I want to look at the live coverage here. Hang on here. I want to look at the live coverage. Where's the live coverage? Don't see live coverage. Hang on. So I will tell you guys exactly. Okay. So let me type in AEW Dynamite real quick. Because I know their live coverage article is still there. That's all you need to know is basically. Where are we here? No. Live coverage. Here we go. I found it. All right. All right, so let's see what folks had said about the main event match. Because I don't, I know some of you guys, you're like, man, being too critical there, man. Being what the hell, man? Let's see here. How can I look at the newest comments first? Let's look at newest. There we go. All right, here we go. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through here. I'm trying to see. Boy, people are not really talking about the all right, Todd. That abrupt ending sucked, felt rushed, and they still haven't done a real overrun yet. Team J-Rod, it felt too loaded of a card from the jump, and I think they paid for it by running out of time at the end. No need for multiple talky in-ring segments, especially if the end goal of one was another Mark Sterling gets hit with a cake spot. Totally in agreement with J-Rod's take. Totally in agreement. I definitely would have scaled back on the talking segments. Definitely. Even if you wanted to just make some announcements as far as what was going to be coming up on Friday's Rampage and all that, honestly, you could have done without the backstage shit. Just let Excalibur do his fucking thing. We know he's the motor mouth. We know he can talk super fucking fast and make all his fucking points and all that. Our Bloodworth, that match just sucked. And I'm not averse to death matches. No name needed. That was way overbooked. The Rock, there's been too many death matches lately. Less is more. I Am the Game, no more ECW type matches. Yeah. Skyliner, that box thing looked terrible. It was broken already. Of course he's talking about how the with the guys, the Jericho guys, how when they were in the cage, yeah, it did look pretty cheap. It did look kind of crappy. I'll read to you guys a couple of more here. That is, if I can. We might not be able to, because I think that might be it, but let's see. It's funny, another theme I keep seeing from some of these folks is, man, when is Danielson, when is Punk, when are these guys going to be returning, right? I'm already seeing that. I even saw some love for Omega there. Let's see. I think that's it, guys. I'm refreshing one more time just to see. Yeah, that's it. Because now we're going into 2 hours. 2 hours ago. So, I mean, that gives you a nice little, snapshot. Okay, but maybe you could make an argument. A little bit of biasism there, I don't know about all that, well, I'll tell you what. Let's go to Twitter. Let's see what some of the people had to say. About that main event match. Darius, that ending sucked. Justin, for fuck's sake, fuck off Chris Jericho. Seriously, go the fuck away already. Eddie Kingston looked like a complete idiot not being able to fight off Guevara and Jericho during the match, but can afterwards. Yeah, that was the other thing. It almost came off like Eddie no-sold after he... Okay, so like after he takes the Judas effect, you get the 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Eddie Kingston immediately fucking just popped up. And he's just fighting these guys like, way to no-sell the hell out of what just, right? The numbers game was so much. It was so dominating on Eddie Kingston. in those final moments where ultimately he got dethroned. Ultimately, Jericho had it his way and beat that ass. 1, 2, 3. But then immediately, Kingston is able to just pop up, and all of a sudden, what the fuck? Did he have his Popeye the Sailor Man spinach or some shit? Yeah, that was ass fucking backwards. This match sucked. Yep. Jessie, which is a female. The end of AEW Dynamite sucked, but the rest of the show was good. Tony Khan, please end the feud. You have the power. Zach, I'm sorry, but that was a train wreck. Extreme gory fans might say it was fun, but that match flat out sucked. Wrestling shame. This sucks. I love AEW, but this sucked. Just let Eddie get the big win. Sin City, I love me some ultra violence, but everything else about this match sucked. Why were Sammy and Tay not locked in the cage when they joined? Thank you. My point exactly. We have another long-winded feud that refuses to end, which is an AEW specialty, and, of course, the key botch. I'll read to you a couple of more. The best tests. That's the first time I've ever angrily shouted "what the fuck" at the end of an AEW show. That was WWE-esque. And I mean that with all disrespect. That was stupid. Get Jericho out of AEW if this is what he brings to the table now. That sucked and made no sense. Jory, main event was cool, but the ending sucked so much. Eddie Kingston should have won that. Kiwi, wished Eddie won tonight, but I understand why he didn't. Interference sucked the air out of the match. It'll be great when Kingston gets his. Are the fans really even going to give a damn, though? Because, I mean, this has been going on for, you feel me? GP, I'm sorry, but that was awful. That match itself sucked before the stupid interference, and that only made it worse. The show as a whole was meh, but the main event was just bad. I'll read to you guys 3 more. Well, that ending fucking sucked, said Michael. Why does AEW keep doing these dumb gimmick matches with shit overbooked endings? Chris Fusselman, bro, that shit fucking sucked. And Jeremy Backman, that barbed wire match sucked. So, lot of fucking, right? So, yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, I know we got some people out there, they're pretty gullible when it comes to their content and all that, you know, but you really got to take a step back and you really just, I mean, look, you got some people out there, they're going to like it from beginning to end, and they're not really going to look at it the way that we're looking at it. They're not going to break it down the way that we're breaking it down, and they're just going to, you know, hey, it was great. Lord, I would just hate to grab fast food with them because, you know, I'd be looking at, I've seen enough episodes of Bar Rescue and a couple other shows, and it's kind of like, you know, I'm really paying attention to reviews for places. It's like, but this place has a 2.1 out of 5 stars. But that other person, yeah, but, you know, look, it looks clean. Look at the place. The place looks clean, and they got free parking, and they got cheese fries. We should go. Like, but they've got a 2 out of 5 star rating based on 1,000 reviews. And in the past month and a half, they've gotten nothing but 1-star reviews. Yeah, but, you know, they got cheese fries, right? It's kind of like, it's kind of one of those type of deals, man. Hope you guys been enjoying the show so far. So look, in regards to what's going to be coming up for Friday's Rampage, and then next Wednesday's Dynamite, I did write down some notes here while I was watching the show. So for this Friday's Rampage. Butcher and Blade will team up to take on Heyman Adam Page. And I think Johnny Huggy. Is going to be in action. John Silver. Meanwhile, Lee Moriarty will be taking on Dante Martin. Jay Lethal takes on Christopher Daniels. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, they'll be in action. Also, there's going to be a rap battle between the Acclaimed and the Gun Club, the Gun Kids, to be exact. Then for next Wednesday's Dynamite, these two matches have been announced. We'll know more about the AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen edition by Saturday's Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view, as we're going to hear more matches that's going to be announced. But right now, we've got Thunder Rosa defending her women's championship against Maya Yomashi. And Ricky Starks will be defending the FTW championship against Danhausen. So that's what all is going to be coming up. Let's talk about NXT in just a hot little bit, and that's not going to be a full-blown recap either. I'm just going to give you guys just quick thoughts, because it's pretty much been maybe almost a month since last I had talked about NXT and everything. I'll let you guys know just some of my thoughts on what I had saw from this week's show. But first, let's talk about the Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor card. Remember, that's going to be coming up this Saturday, so you'll be able to order that from Bleacher Report. I don't think Fight TV is going to have it available same day. I think that's going to be a case where it'll be available the next day. So let's look up this card here. Death Before Dishonor going to be going down in Massachusetts at the Tasonga Center. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Right now we've got 5 matches that have been announced. We've got Mercedes Martinez defending the ROH Women's Championship against Serena Deeb. Hopefully we'll see some type of a continuation too with those two women on Friday's Rampage as we go closer to the ROH pay-per-view. But I love Mercedes Martinez, man. I just feel that she's really just getting started as the ROH Women's Champion and everything. Remember, ultimately, she had won the, wasn't it an intern position? Yeah, she had won an intern position, and then she went on and ultimately faced Deonna Purrazzo and pretty much became, the undisputed ROH Women's World Champion that way and all that. So I just feel that she's really kind of just getting started as the champion. So I definitely got to go with Martinez for the retain. FTR's Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood taking on the Briscoe brothers. It was changed. It's not going to be a regular tag match. Now it's going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match for the ROH World Tag Team titles. This is a tough one, man. Seriously, this is a tough one because these are 2 of my absolute favorite tag teams here, man. Man, I want to go with the Briscoes. Sincerely, I want to go with the Briscoes, but where I'm a little bit concerned is, okay, you got the Briscoes, they go over, but how exactly are they supposed to, right? But then again, this is for the ROH World Tag Titles, right? I just don't see the tag titles. I just don't see the tag titles leaving FTR. It'd be one thing. Look, I would say this. This is what I would look out for if I was you all that plan on watching this pay-per-view. If Briscoes win the ROH World Tag Titles, then it's safe to assume that things have ultimately been smoothed out with Turner Media executives, and as a result, we're ultimately going to be seeing Briscoes on AEW programming, TNT, TBS. Okay? It's a long shot. It is a long shot. But if they were to win, then that's what I would basically be looking for. But as it stands right now, here on this night, I just don't feel that Briscoes are going to be the ones to take those titles away at this pay-per-view. I see FTR retaining those titles. Wheeler Yuta defending his pure wrestling rules, his ROH Pure Championship against Daniel Garcia in a pure wrestling rules match. That should be the sleeper hit match of the night. Oh, man, that could go either way, too, yo. I really like how they've been building up Wheeler Yuta. He's earning his fucking stripes one match at a time and everything. Now, you don't do all this kind of build up just to basically, right? I got Wheeler Yuta retaining the championship there. I'm just not convinced that Dan Garcia is going to get in there or upset. But of the matches on the card so far, I'm looking at that one and I'm going to say that's going to be your sleeper hit match of the night. Samoa Joe defending the ROH World TV title against Jay Lethal. You know, just to make things interesting, it would be nice to see Jay Lethal win the ROH World TV title. It's weird. You know, one minute we see Samoa Joe, and then the next minute, you know, we pretty much don't see this guy. I just can't help but go, damn, is Samoa Joe okay? Is he just taking care of some personal stuff? You know, what exactly is going on with the dude, right? This is an interesting... I'm just a little concerned because of the lack of appearances we've been getting from Samoa Joe. I'm not gonna say, you know, oh, Joe and AEW, Tony Khan, they had some type of fall. I'm not gonna go in that direction, but I just feel that there is something I just feel that there's something going on here that maybe we don't really know about, right? I just feel there's something kind of not fishy. There's just something. Yeah. I'm going to go with Jay Lethal. I could be wrong, but I'm going to say Jay Lethal becomes the ROH World TV Champion. I know Tony Khan probably ain't thinking about the whole joint with Jay Lethal, Ric Flair, and all that, but you know what? To put the ROH World TV title on Jay Lethal just weeks before, or a week and a half before Jay Lethal does his thing with Jeff Jarrett against Andrade El Idolo and Ric Flair. You feel where I'm coming from? So, yeah, I'm going to go with Jay Lethal. Because you notice so far, because otherwise, you're looking at this and you're going, damn. So, all straight retains? You got to have a swerve somewhere. So, I think that is going to be the match that's going to have the swerve. Jonathan Gresham defends the ROH World Championship against Claudio, Cassinogli, Cesaro. Gresham. I got to go with Gresham. I have got to go with Gresham. I'm just not convinced that, you know, after everything Jonathan Gresham has been doing thus far, you know, doing his best to continue to go out there night in, night out, represent ROH and all that, you know, he has continued to guide the company through some troubled waters, unknown and dark times, and I just feel that he's going to continue to be the face of ROH at least for the next couple of months, maybe even the rest of 2022. I'm just not convinced that Gresham is going to be coughing up the championship this soon. I'm just not convinced just yet. So I'm going to stay with Gresham retaining the championship, especially now that he has aligned himself with Tully Blanchard and you got the whole Blanchard Enterprises thing going. You know, Brian Cage is part of that whole thing. So there's a big old numbers game there that's going on, you know, which makes you wonder if we're going to see a clash of Tully Blanchard Enterprises and the Blackpool Combat Club. It's kind of something to look out for going into that. I think what'll probably also help out this pay-per-view too, I mean, even though it hasn't been announced, I would just like to believe that Bryan Danielson and CM Punk, I would just love to believe that those guys are going to make some type of appearances at this event. So otherwise, it would just kind of, well, that fucking sucks. So, but yeah, that's how I'm looking at the card. Once again, Mercedes Martinez with a retain over Serena Deeb over the women's title. FTR with a retain over them boys. 2 out of 3 falls match. ROH tag titles. Yuta with a retain over Garcia to keep his ROH Pure Championship. Jay Lethal, I'm seeing become the new ROH World TV Champion against Samoa Joe. Jonathan Gresham retaining the ROH World Championship against Cesaro. So that's how I'm looking at that one. Let's see. So other than that, how are we doing on Showtime? Looks like we're doing pretty good. We're at about an hour, 32 minutes so far. Just been kind of a quiet week so far. Not really too much has gone down since last we were on the air with you all. And I really mean that. Usually we say that. But no, this has actually been a relatively quiet week. Now, I did check out NXT for this week. Ooh, excuse me. That's all I got to say, guys. It was that tiring watching NXT. Cameron Grimes taking on JD McDonough. Whatever. That's what he's calling himself now? Jesus. Okay. Whatever, man. Whatever. Good match. I thought Grimes and I know him as Devin. That's how I remember him. I thought they did pretty good in the ring together. Gacy, I could go for less of him. I could really go, ever since they pretty much pulled, what's the kid's name? Paul Bordeaux or Parker Bordeaux. Ever since they pulled that dude away from Gacy, I have not been interested. I could, this is my first time watching NXT in a good minute. It just seemed like we were getting too much camera time of this Gacy dude for my personal liking. So, what else? Roderick Strong taking on Damon Kemp. I can't believe that Diamond Mine is still a thing. I would have thought that shit would have been blown up already. Seriously. Okay match. I honestly didn't give two shits about either guy facing one another. The NXT UK Tag Team title match, Pretty Diddley taking on Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen. Look, since last I've seen them, Briggs and Jensen, they are getting better. I will definitely give them that. They're coming along. They're developing very nicely and everything. The gimmick, what they can do, I'm a little bit curious. There is that part of me that's interested in seeing how far these guys can go as a tag team. But, what may be clicking on a much smaller scale that's known as NXT, I have great concern that if you were to try to translate that over to your main flagship shows, I just feel that it's not going to connect with the overwhelming majority of WWE fans, and that as a result, you may need to tweak their gimmicks now before ultimately having them go to the main flagship shows. That's where I'm really concerned there. Braun Breaker cutting his promo. He's coming along. He pretty much was hyping up match that he had with Cameron Grimes and apparently JD McDonough. He wants a shot at that NXT championship. Wait a minute. That tiny dude. He wants some of Braun Breaker, and I'm supposed to believe that this dude's gonna be able to hang with Braun Breaker. right. All right. All right. Axiom, some new superhero guy in a mask, apparently. Looks like a superhero. I like the special effects that they gave him. It was giving me, remember the Flash TV show from the early 90s, I think it was? It was either 89, 90, or 91 that Flash series had dropped. And just the way the Flash would move around in that show. Yeah, I was kind of reminded of that when I was looking at Axiom's entrance and all that. He had took on Dante Chen. Obviously, he picked up a victory there. I thought he did okay. That was a nice little cute debut and everything, but who's your demo here? What demo are you going for here? Because when we talk about the viewership for NXT, it's older guys that are watching this. So are older people really giving a flying fuck about some superhero? Right? It just, I don't hear of little kids watching NXT on Tuesday nights. So, and then just based off what we're seeing with the viewership in the demos, it's like, the age demo specifically, it's like, I don't know, that just came off. He did okay. Let's see. Cameron Grimes is seen getting ready to leave when he's interviewed. Sounds like by Jeremy Borash. Wanted to ask a couple of questions, but Grimes fucking snapped and yells about how he wants to go home. But Joe Gacy pops up to say, hey, I get where you're coming from and everything. Tony D'Angelo had accepted Diamond Mine's challenge for the next week. Whoopie-doo. Battle Royal, female Battle Royal, to figure out who's going to go on to face Mandy Rose for the championship. These were your participants. Alba Frey, Nikita Lyons, Tiffany Stratton, Fallon Hensley, Lash Legend, Indy Hartwell, Ivy Nile, Kiana James, Elektra Lopez, Cora Jade, Zoe Stark, Sloane Jacobs, Valentina Feroz, Yolicia Leon, Wendy Chu, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Tatum Paxley, Amari Miller, and Ariana Grace. And your winner, Zoe Stark. One thing I will say, in regards to their women's division, I didn't really realize it until watching that main event match. That women's division, there is some really nice, rich, deep depth. So I will definitely give props right there. So, and the fact that you basically got like over 20 women as part of NXT 2.0 roster, that's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. But then when you start to weed it out and go, okay, so who here is really, yes, they definitely got something here, for what it's worth. As far as the match itself, as far as going with Zoe Stark as the winner, that's great. You do need a fresh new challenger for Mandy Rose and everything. I guess I'm okay with that. I got to see what's been going on with Zoe since last I had saw her, though, because the last time I was watching NXT on the regular and I got turned off by it real quick, we were seeing basically when Harry met Sally with Zoe Stark and, wasn't it Io Shirai? I think it was, and they were trying to get along as a tag team, and one week they're eating at a Japanese restaurant, then the next week they're eating at an American food restaurant, right? So it's been a minute since, but I remember before they did that weird pairing and they were just pretty much doing those racial stereotypes, of segments, silly segments at that. I just remember before when Zoe Stark was just doing her thing as a singles competitor, I was really feeling her. I was liking where she was going. So the promo stuff seemed like, So I'm curious where she is now and everything. I guess we'll know in a little bit, but okay show, okay in some areas, but I gotta admit I did a lot of fast forwarding. Um, the ones that I'm most interested in right now, where I see a lot of upside in them, I'm definitely interested in Zoe Stark, um, Cameron Grimes, Carmelo Hayes, and his sidekick, what's his name? Trick Williams. Definitely interested in those guys. Um, Nikita Lyons for sure. I definitely see a very big, bright future ahead for her. Santino Morella's daughter. Definitely see something with her. Elektra Lopez for sure. Lash Legend. I've seen little bits and pieces here and there. She's starting to string it together. She's coming along. Not quite there, but she's definitely is coming along. Of all the people that are most surprising to me, Indy Hartwell. I'm very surprised that young Indy has not been planted on one of the main shows yet. I'm very surprised at because I'm just looking and going, okay, so who's ready to go, right? And she just comes off, yeah, you could definitely, yes, yeah, do something with her. Let's see. There's another point I had wanted to make in regards to that whole thing, but I think that's it. I think that's it. So, yeah, but I did a lot of fast forwarding, but there's only so many people I'm very interested in. You know what? I want to see and of course Braun. Braun definitely still has my interest, but I can't help but wonder if it might be time to flip it. Because I was trying to hang in with that promo of his from Tuesday, and I don't know, man. I just kind of feel as though, nah, maybe we kind of messed this up with him. Maybe we actually need to have this guy go the heel route, right? I don't know. But yeah, I never did so much fast forward in my life. I was asking beforehand to a few folks, hey, tell me about NXT. Am I missing anything? Anything in particular I need to go out of my way and check out? And, it was pretty much unanimous. You want to watch the Rumble. Like, really? Yeah, not just because there's a whole bunch of, nice looking girls in there. You just need to watch the Rumble because it's what is the most fun so far. It is what honestly has been worth sticking around for all night because everybody else was saying, kind of a boring show. But for those of you that want to know my thoughts about some of the things I was kind of for some of you guys that might have been wondering, hey, what do I think about certain things that's going on in NXT? What's my take on certain? Now you guys know. Maybe we'll talk about it again next week. Now that I pretty much am seeing what's going on, maybe we can follow, 2, maybe 3 more episodes, get even a more good, better feel. And I can tell you guys, okay, as far as story arcs, okay, I can kind of see this going here. I can maybe see that going there. And then afterwards, we let some weeks go by. I revisit NXT again just to see where everything is. Was I right on the money or no, they actually went in this direction instead, all right? By the way, we were talking about it on Wrestling with the Topics. Again, for you guys that had missed the initial stream on Tuesday, the audio is going to be available Thursday night. But I had ran the idea by Tam. She was like, yeah, I would love to do that. So we're going to do a watch-along. I think we're going to do maybe 2 watch-alongs this week where we're going to go back on Ric Flair's last 2 career-defining matches as we make our way to his final match coming up at the end of the month. So you guys definitely, and the way that we're going to, try to go about doing this, we're going to do it in such a way where, I've been taking some cues from a few other podcasts, and there's definitely a way you can do it and not have to worry about copyrights and all that by WWE. So we're definitely going to work our magic and fucking do it. So we're going to do that next week. So that should be real fun. I'll let you guys know when we have more information as far as the day and the time that we're going to be streaming those joints. You guys will know. Just stay connected on social media, and you guys will definitely be in the loop. All right, so we're at about the 1 hour and 47-minute mark, and I'm going to say on that note, let's go ahead and call it. I wasn't kidding when I was telling you guys earlier. This has been pretty much a slow wire news week, man. Not really too much has gone on. Big bulk of the stuff we pretty much had got into on the Monday and the Tuesday show once again. Help out the family of Jessie Bell, a.k.a. Jessie Jones from Wild Women of Wrestling. Her sister has been missing since June 30th. She was last seen in the Florida area, and yeah, it's unfortunate. Here we are. We're almost a month later. And the family has no closure just yet. Make sure you show her love on her social media outlets. Mainly go on to Twitter because she's more interactive on Twitter. Jessie Bell 1, put in the actual number 1. So that's spelled JESSIE BELLE, and then put in the actual number 1, and you'll be able to find her on Twitter that way. You can see photos of her sister, and hopefully you guys with your social media followings, you can retweet, and hopefully through the power of just that whole domino effect of retweets and reshares, hopefully, because all it takes is just that one tip. Just that one tip that can pretty much break a mystery / a case wide open and everything. And, really hoping that the family can have some type of good news. I did not check to see if she said anything today as far as a new update. But just before we go, I can definitely let you all know what's going on here. If she said anything new. I'm checking right now. I'm literally on her Twitter page. Give me a second here. Yeah, it's unfortunately still the same. Okay, so she shared a new update on the 19th, it looks like. Last word now is she was last heard from the Fort Lauderdale area, and she was with a guy named Screws. He is dangerous. Her family believes he is holding her hostage. Yeah. So that's what's going on there. So if you guys have any tips, information, you are encouraged to call the Martin or Palm Beach County Sheriff's area code 772-220-7000. Again, 772-220-7000, or call 561-688-3000. Again, area code 561-688-3000. So keeping the fingers crossed there for that family. God bless them. Seriously, God bless them. Also, it may get lost in the shuffle with other shows for this respected week, but definitely thoughts, prayers, and condolences go to the Heenan family, as the wife of the late Bobby the Brain Heenan had passed away this week. She passed away a couple of days ago. I believe she passed on the 18th or 19th. Mike Tenay was the first to break out the news publicly on social media. And you know what? If there is such thing as a utopia, there is such thing as an afterlife, you would just love to believe that they are back together, Bobby and Cindy. You would just love to believe that they're back together, and Bobby's giving her the grand tour, letting her see what all she, what all she's been missing, right? He's giving her a nice, great, big old grand tour. God bless that woman, though, because when Bobby Heenan was dealing with throat cancer issues and all that, going back to what, 2002. My God, you talk about being his right-hand man. If ever a time that he needed her in a clutch moment, she was there with him, right down to the point. And some of you guys know this very well, especially if you made your rounds going to conventions, autograph signings, and all that. She would be right there with him when he would be doing these signings and shit. And when it came to doing, little interviews, things of that nature, she was there as well. Even taking it upon herself to, make sure that as far as signed autobiography books and all that, she was handling the mail and, hooking people up and all of that. Good fucking woman, man. Seriously, a good fucking woman. But yeah, she passed away a couple of days ago. So, I didn't really see too many sites mentioning that. Really haven't been hearing that many shows acknowledging her passing. So definitely rest in power to Cindy Heenan. So kind of unfortunate. There. So yeah, as far as the rest of the week, that's pretty much gonna do it, guys. We're done for now. Be on the lookout for those other shows. By the way, shout out to our sponsors. Love our sponsors. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, you represent and you check them out, because they're sponsoring our show. They're basically helping us keep content like what you're checking out right now. You're able to continue to access it with ease, mainly for free, no problem. Definitely special shout out to lulock.com. I want you guys to make sure you visit that site, spend a couple of minutes browsing it, read up on that. And if that's something that you think you might be interested in, you want to test it out, you want to buy yourself a lulock, go for it. But, just show some extra love, definitely, of all the sponsors. Everybody, represent, check out all the sponsors, but definitely show them some extra love. Stop by their site, because they got a really cool product, and the more people that know about it, I think the better. We just inked a deal with a really cool coffee company. I'm very excited to be working with them. I should be getting some of their coffee samples this weekend, and one of their flavors it has to do with wrestling. So I'm very excited to try this. And this is something that we're going to be doing with them for a few months. We're just working out the kinks right now. We're trying to figure out how we're going to go about me reviewing the products, and, what exactly are we going to say as far as an ad goes and all that. But the deal has already been inked. The deal has already been inked out. It's just a matter of now just waiting on that stuff. But I think you guys are really gonna fucking love those guys. I know there's a lot of you coffee drinkers that's out there and everything. So be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed for on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR show. One more time, if you haven't done so already, on your way out, please make sure you hit that like button. Really helps me out. Takes 2 seconds. It's free. You can't beat free. Feel free to also hit that subscribe button as well, so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way on a weekly basis. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. And until next go around, I'm wishing all of you all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Have a great weekend, y'all. Take care.